Good morning. Let's take a quick look at the escalation clause used in DC and Montgomery County as part of the GCAAR area. So an escalation clause is used when you think you have multiple offers and you want to start at a price but have the opportunity to be included in the discussion if the price goes higher. And so what you do here is you have an escalating factor. So let's say we start at a price of $500,000 and we know there are going to be other offers coming in. So we want to escalate with a certain factor that's going to be very attractive to the seller over other contracts. And remember, one of those could be a cash offer, and yours might be a financed offer. We don't know, all the circumstances, or yours is the cash and the other is financed. But in many cases, you want to consider, all right, there might be some other factor that makes the other offer better than yours. So what would be an enticing escalation number? So in the case of a $500,000 offer, I would say something like $7,000 might be something attractive or higher, right? And so what happens is this. We have a $500,000 offer. There's another offer that comes in at $500,000. And so we are automatically bumping up to $507,000 if there's no other offer. Let's say the other offer is actually at $510,000, then we would bump up to $510,000 plus the escalation factor of $7,000 to $517,000. Now that can keep going up until you reach what's called the cap. So in this case, let's say we have we're at hypothetically a $500,000 price, so let's say we have a cap of $525,000. Now it doesn't mean you're going to pay $525,000. It could be, again, as the example was, there's another offer at $510,000, so you're going to escalate by 7, so you'd be at $517,000. They must show that there are other offers. They must give you documentation of that other offer to prove why you had to move up. And it is possible that there are other escalator clauses as well, so we could potentially be moving up right up against this factor. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that this is a tool to keep you in discussion. So it is not automatic. You do have the right to approve of it, and we'll show you that in a minute. The other thing is you also have an appraisal, and the appraisal can protect you against potentially overpricing it, right? So maybe you do escalate to $525,000, but then the appraisal comes in at $520,000, and that saves you some money. You might have to negotiate that $5,000. So then there's a procedure here. What happens if you are financing? Are you going to continue to keep the same finance and put more cash in, or are you going to adjust the loan, so forth? So most often people check the loan amount automatically adjusts to whatever the down payment amount is. And will terminate if there's no mutually agreeable price. Buyer acknowledges and affirms that this is an escalation clause that they're making of their own choice. Now, certainly as your agent, I might suggest it and suggest to you terms, but always you are in the driver's seat and you make the choices. Here's the key paragraph here. Acceptance of counteroffer. In the event that the seller agrees to accept a sales price within the terms of this offer and pursuant to this escalation clause, the seller will submit to the buyer a copy of this offer. So in other words, they have to show you the proof of the other offer driving the price up. Then they're going to give you this offer with the sales price adjusted according to the escalation. So again, in our example, we ended up with $517,000 with an original offer of $500,000. So they've adjusted the sales price and they've initialed the change as the counter offer. They submit it to us, and then you initial that change as acceptance of the counter offer, and the deal moves forward. If you decide that that price is, in the event, too high, that you don't want to move forward, you do not have to initial it, and you do not have to agree, and the deal would end. Okay, I'm Taylor Johnson with Keller Williams Capital Properties. I'm an agent with the Eng Garcia Team. I'm here as a resource for you. If you found this helpful, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to explain more to you. And as always, remember, I'm just a lowly real estate agent. You should always consult a lawyer or an accountant for other questions outside of real estate. Thanks very much for your time. Have a great day. Bye.